And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And here we are on a Monday. We're getting liquid sunshine outside. It's raining outside here in sunny Southern California. But you know what? We've got a great show all lined up for you. Hopefully you can sit back, relax, and enjoy the whole thing. I want you to know that at 3:01 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 50 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it is raining, but it's sunny. You know, it's bright outside, believe it or not. Anyway, it's on its way down to 41 degrees. But you know what? Let's talk about what's going to be on the show. As usual, we're going to talk about what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and then we'll continue our segment, the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story later on in the show. Today's story is the volunteer, and you're going to want to hear this. It's one of those mind bender kind of things that you're going to want to hear. And then, of course, today, Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos will be on the show. We'll be doing our semi-weekly simulcast, and then after that, I'll be talking to our own John Hansen, that little wine drinker. We're going to be talking about food and wine here on Robert Cardoza Live. But right now, let's talk about the news. And gosh, you know what? There's a lot of it, so we might as well just get right to it. You know, for the first part of it, though, there's a big surge for the military in Trump's budget. Big cuts everywhere else. President Donald Trump is proposing a huge $54 billion surge in U.S. military spending for new aircraft, ships, and fighters in his first federal budget, while slashing big chunks from domestic programs and foreign aid to make the government do more with less. The Trump blueprint, due in more detail next month, would fulfill the Republican president's campaign pledge to boost Pentagon spending while targeting the budgets of other federal agencies. The top-line figures emerged today, one day before Trump's first address to a joint session of Congress, which is going to take place tomorrow night on most of your stations at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern time. You know, this is an opportunity to reemphasize the economic issues that were a centerpiece of his White House run. Domestic programs and foreign aid would, as a whole, absorb about 10%, a $54 billion cut from currently projected levels, cuts that would match the military increase. The cuts would be felt far more deeply by programs and agencies targeted by Trump and his fellow Republicans, like the Environmental Protection Agency, as well as foreign aid. Veterans programs would be exempted, as would border security, additional law enforcement functions, and some other areas. Well, we'll see what it's all about tomorrow night. But you know what? All in all, people are going to be critical, because that's just the way people are. But it looks like it's on its way to the right thing. Trump does say he's not going to fool around with Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid. And so that means he's only got that discretionary spending area to deal with if he's going to increase military and defense. So that's what's going to go on there. Well, Trump looks to refocus his presidency in his address to Congress. President Donald Trump's first address to Congress gives him a welcome opportunity to refocus his young administration on the core economic issues that helped him get elected, and his allies hope to move beyond the distractions and self-inflicted wounds that have roiled his White House. Trump's advisors say that he'll use his primetime speech tomorrow night to declare early progress on his campaign promises, including kickstarting construction of his proposed southern border wall, and to map a path ahead on thorny legislative priorities, including health care and infrastructure spending. We spend billions in the Middle East, but we have potholes all over our own country, Trump said today as he previewed the address during a meeting with the nation's governors. 49 of them showed up for these meetings. Well, you know who didn't show up, right? Yeah, Governor Moonbeam right here from California, Jerry Brown. Well, today he previewed the address at that meeting with the nation's governors. We're going to start spending on infrastructure, and we're going to do it big, he says. Republicans, impatient to begin making headway on an ambitious legislative agenda, hope Trump arrives on Capitol Hill armed with specifics on replacing the Obamacare health law and overhauling the nation's tax system. You know what? I think that what you're going to see, you're not going to see a repeal of Obamacare. What you're going to see is a repair of Obamacare. They can't repeal Obamacare and replace it with anything, especially since they don't have anything to replace it with. What they really need to do is to get in, and this is what they're probably going to do, is repair the areas that are not good, or maybe repeal the areas that are not good. But he's got to keep that insurance in place for everybody. He doesn't really have much choice on that. And that's what he promised. Well, advocacy groups, forget Oscar's snafu, focus on Moonlight. You know what? Yes, the great mistake of Oscars 2017 made history in all the wrong kinds of ways. But a day later, advocacy groups and others overjoyed by the Cinderella win of Moonlight were saying, let's forget the snafu and move on to because Moonlight made history in all the right kinds of ways. The coming-of-age story of a gay black youth in a poor Miami neighborhood was made on the thinnest of budgets, $1.5 million, said director Barry Jenkins backstage. It had a mostly black cast and was seen as the first LGBT-themed movie to win Best Picture in the 89-year history of the awards show. And so, there's no point in wondering whether the spectacular mess-up that led to La La Land first being announced Best Picture winner incorrectly would overshadow the Moonlight win, said Sarah Kate Ellis, president and CEO of GLAAD, an LGBT advocacy group. I don't think you can overshadow the Moonlight win, she said, in an interview which acknowledging it was a bit upsetting that it went down that way, though. You know what? I suppose so. But what won out, she said, was not only a strong message of diversity and inclusivity, but hopefully the bigger dream that Hollywood recognizes this and continues to produce films like this so that they are not the exception, but the rule. And wouldn't that be nice? But like everything else, just like everything we hear in the news these days, it's all about politics. You know, it really is. You know what? As far as that faux pas at the Oscars envelopes have been explained in how presenters get winning names. You know, a look at how the Academy Award winners' envelopes are handled before being opened live on stage. The consulting firm of PwC, formerly PricewaterhouseCoopers, tabulates the winners based on ballots cast by the Academy's 6,687 voting members. Unlike the nominations, which rely on a branch-specific preferential voting system, winners are chosen by popular vote. Two accountants are tasked with bringing the final results inside sealed envelopes to the Oscars ceremony. They are the people carrying briefcases on the red carpet, flanked by police protection. Each briefcase contains an identical set of envelopes for the show's 24 categories. The accountants also memorize the winners. The two accountants are ostensibly the only people who know the winners before they are announced live on TV. Well, isn't that something? Well, during the telecast, the two briefcases toting accountants are stationed at the Dolby Theater wings, one on stage and left and one on stage right. Most presenters enter stage right. They come backstage a few minutes ahead of time, and the accountant hands them their categories envelope just before they walk on stage. The category is indicated both on the envelope and on the card with the winner's name. The sealed envelope with the winner's name is opened live on stage. The unused duplicate envelopes are discarded, though there is no formal process for how that happens, such as a dedicated shedder or wastebasket. So on Sunday, Warren Beatty and Faye Dunaway entered stage right, where the PwC representative Brian Cullinan handed them the errand envelope. The previous award, Best Actress, was presented by Leonardo DiCaprio, who entered stage left. PwC representative Martha Ruiz handed him the envelope for the correct category. A duplicate unopened envelope for Best Actress remained stage right and apparently ended up in the hands of Beatty and Dunaway. And now you know the rest of that story. Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know what? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about a 911 call. A bar shooting suspect said he'd killed Iranians, and I'll tell you all about that after these brief messages, so don't go away, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:14 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 50 degrees. It's still raining here in sunny Southern California, and it's still on its way down 41 degrees. But you know what? Let's continue with the news. A 911 caller, bar shooting suspect said he'd killed Iranians. A bartender at the restaurant where a man was arrested last week for an apparently racially motivated bar shooting of two Indian men told a 911 dispatcher that the suspect admitted shooting two people but described them as Iranian. A recording from Henry County, Missouri, 911 reveals that the bartender warned police not to approach the building with the sirens blaring or the man would freak out and something bad's going to happen. The man, Adam Purington, 51 years old, of Olathe, made his first appearance in court today via video link. He had been charged with first-degree murder and first-degree attempted murder. According to witnesses, Purington yelled, "Get out of my country," at two 32-year-old Indian men. It's Srinivas and Kuchibotala and Alak Madascani, I guess it is. Boy, they make these names tough, right? Before he opened fire at Austin's Bar and Grill in Kansas City suburb on Wednesday evening. One of the men was killed and the other man injured. The two had come to the United States from India to study. They had worked as engineers at GPS maker Garmin. A third patron, Ian Griot, 24, was wounded when he tried to intervene. After the shooting, Purington, who was white, drove 70 miles east to an Applebee's restaurant in Clinton, Missouri, where he made the shocking admission to the bartender. Wow. Can you imagine? He's going to be put into a mental institution, I'm thinking. Well, Takata pleads guilty in airbag scandal and agrees to pay $1 billion. Yeah. Japanese auto parts maker Takata Corporation pleaded guilty to fraud today and agreed to pay $1 billion in penalties for concealing an airbag defect blamed for at least 16 deaths, most of them in the United States. The scandal, meanwhile, seemed to grow wider when plaintiffs' attorneys charged that 5 major automakers knew the devices were dangerous but continued to use them for years to save money. In pleading guilty, Takata admitted hiding evidence that millions of its airbag inflators can explode with too much force, hurling lethal shrapnel into the drivers and passengers. The inflators are blamed for 11 deaths in the U.S. alone and more than 180 injuries worldwide. The problem touched off the biggest recall in United States automotive history, involving 42 million vehicles and up to 69 million inflators. The company's chief financial officer, Ichiro Nomura, entered the guilty plea on Takata's behalf in federal court in Detroit. He also agreed that Takata will be sold or merge with another company. Man, can you imagine? You know, the penalties include $850 million in restitution to automakers, $125 million for victims and families, and $25 million in criminal fines. Separately, 3 former executives are charged with falsifying test results that they remain in Japan. Yeah. Well, you know what? Yeah. I wonder if Japan, in light of the new Trump administration, is going to consider extraditing those folks. I'd certainly think so. Might be in their best interest. You know what? There's pressure on the GOP to revamp the health law, and it grows, along with rifts, by the way. President Donald Trump declared today that nobody knew that health care could be so complicated, yet the opposite has long been painfully obvious for top congressional Republicans who face mounting pressure to scrap the law even as problems grow longer and knottier. With the GOP-controlled Congress starting its 3rd month of work on one of the marquee priorities, unresolved difficulties included how their substitute would handle Medicaid, whether millions of voters might lose coverage, and if their proposed tax credits would be adequate, and how to pay for the costly exercise. Gosh, I wish we had more time to talk about those tax credits. For young people, it's going to be $2,000. For older people, it's going to be $4,000. Well, for $2,000, the younger people aren't going to be able to get the coverage they need except for major stuff in case they get hit by a car. And for the older people, that $4,000 isn't going to even come close to handling their minimum needs. That's what's going to come out, and I'm sure that Donald's going to talk all about that at some point tomorrow. And every pundit in the nation will be talking about it the next day. Well, stick around. We're going to take another short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the IRS Loses. The first case is earned income credit is available for nieces. I'll tell you all about that right after we come back into these brief messages.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make the interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay a great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's still raining outside here in sunny Southern California. It's 50 degrees on its way down to 41 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, well, it's 50 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. And if you're in Chicago, Illinois, listening to our show, in the comfort of your easy chair, it's 54 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. But right now, we're going to talk about a pleasant conversation. The IRS loses. And the first case up is earned income credit. They abbreviate that EIC, is available for nieces. Yep, you got that right. Now, Matthew Gilmore was 19 years old and lived in an apartment with his mother, 3 sisters, and 2 children of one of his sisters. Now, he had a job, helped support the family, and cared for his nieces, for whom he claimed an earned income credit. Now, both the IRS denied unfortunately, the IRS denied that credit, and then they went to tax court for some justice, and here's what the tax court said. To qualify Matthew for the EIC of the earned income credit, the children must meet age, residence, and relationship tests. As minors who lived with him, they met the first 2. As nieces, they met the relationship test. If he earned for them as his own children, or if he cared for them, actually. So the ruling was, as the oldest male of the family who both cared for and worked to support them, and he did so, and so he gets the credit. And just so you don't think that's something menial, it's $5,400, and I'm sure they could use it. Well, another case the IRS lost. Payments to teachers who give up tenure are not subject to employment tax. So here's the deal. Under an early retirement program, teachers in the school district gave up their tenure rights to employment in the in exchange for cash payments. Now, the IRS said that the payments were earned through employment and so subject to employment tax, which it had actually had the district withhold from their checks. Now, the teachers sued for refunds, and they went to court. This is what the judge said. When an at-will employee who can be dismissed at any time is given a severance bonus, it is taxable wages. But here, payment was made in exchange for the surrender of valuable legal rights, not in exchange for labor. So the payments were not wages, and the refunds are absolutely granted. Not only were they granted, but the legal costs were granted, and interest on the delay was also granted. Now, there's a smart judge. There's another case the IRS lost. They were told of a new address. Sounds innocent enough, right? Well, here's the deal. Thomas Hunter moved and filed an IRS power of attorney, or POA form, that told the IRS to send copies of all of his tax notices to his accountant and gave his new address. But the IRS sent a deficiency notice only to his old address. Now, Hunter said he never received it, so that it must have been invalid. The IRS answered that Hunter had never filed an IRS Form 8822 change of address form, and general correspondence sent to it containing a new address does not serve as one of those replacements, so the notice was valid. Well, he went to court. This is what the judge said. A power of attorney is not general correspondence and has been held many times by the courts to notify the IRS of a change of address, often at the IRS's own insistence. So, the notice? Yeah, you got it. It's invalid, and that's the way it ought to be, invalid. Shame on them. Well, you heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing things. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call Inside the IRS. It's very much like the Twilight Zone. Okay, so these are not tax court cases, but, you hear me say it all the time. Information is valuable. It's one of the most valuable things you can have. And so the more information you have, the better it is for you to deal sometimes with the IRS if you know what their position under certain things are. Well, here's one for you. Contingent attorney fees in the IRS. Think about this. The IRS will generally take the position that the entire legal award received by a taxpayer must be considered part of the taxpayer's gross income, and the contingency fee paid to the attorney be classified as an itemized deduction. Now, the problem with this, the value of the itemized deduction for legal fees may be reduced or eliminated after consideration of the alternative minimum tax. Accordingly, you wind up paying tax on the entire recovery, even though perhaps 1/3 of it was paid to your attorney. Now, some states have come to the rescue here. Taxpayers living in Alabama, Michigan, and Texas are not required to include recovered attorney fees in their gross income. And based on litigation in the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, taxpayers who live in Louisiana and Mississippi also do not have to pay or to include that recovery in their attorney fees in the gross income. So the Supreme Court's currently reviewing this case, and it may be set on a national standard, and should be. It's just an unfair way of Congress to collect additional taxes, or the IRS, I should say. Well, when you owe the IRS money and borrow money from the bank, a corporate officer who enters into a loan agreement that provides that the bank must approve all expenditures, including the payment of payroll taxes, does not relieve himself or herself of responsible person status, as is still personally liable for the company's willful future or failure to pay trust fund withholding and Social Security taxes. The requirement to pay federal payroll taxes supersedes the contractual restriction imposed by the bank. So just kind of keep that in mind. One last thing. Hey, Where does your business stand? More than 95% of business tax returns are filed in the United States report annual gross receipts of less than $1 million. Now, during the last tax reporting year, the most recent figures available, approximately 25 million business returns were filed. Of these, almost 18 million were filed as sole proprietorships. Another interesting fact, the 5% of the business returns that had annual gross receipts of more than $1 million accounted for 92% of the aggregate business gross receipts reported. Now, give that some thought as we go to our next break. And when we come back, we're going to be doing our simulcast with Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos and the Conservative Syndicate. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from the basement of his strategic planning room located at his political hideaway in Los Angeles County, the dedicated man who stands and serves the political conscience of our nation, Mr. Jon Matthews.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific time. Still 50 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, but it's raining. The high was 53. The low is going to be 41 degrees. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network in Chicago, Illinois, well, it's 54 degrees and it is mostly cloudy. And if you're in Paris, France, well, it's 39 degrees and it's partly cloudy. But you know what? Coming up here any second, our own buddy Jon Matthews, and Joe Hakos are going to be calling in. We're going to be doing our simulcast. We do that bi-weekly, or semi-weekly, I should say. We do it twice a week, every Monday and every Friday about this time. And we kind of put our heads together and talk about politics. Sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't agree. The one thing that we do have is some really interesting conversations. So we're just waiting for them to call in, and when they do, we'll be in good shape. So hopefully he'll go on any minute. In the meantime, I'm just kind of filling dead air here to keep talking. Don't forget, we do have our story tonight, the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, and the rest of the story. Today's story is The Volunteer. It's going to be great. And here they are now. We're with Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos. Hey, guys, how you doing?
Just to point that out. There he is. How you doing, Bob?
Hey, doing great. Good to be talking with you guys.
Yeah. How was your out of town trip?
Well, you know what? The out of town trip was kind of short. Most of the week I spent a little under the weather. You know what? I'm an old guy, and I busted a lot of bones in my life. A lot of them all at one time, and this weather yo-yoing around has just hit me like a truck.
Oh yeah, I get it. But you're no older than Trump, you know.
Actually, I am.
You really? I thought you were right in the same age bracket.
Yeah, we are. But I think I'm a bit. He's 70, right? And I'm 72.
Oh, okay. Oh, geez. Yeah, you are an old fart. All right.
Yeah. So you know what? So I had a lot of aches and pains. As a young guy, I did a lot of stupid things. So I broke a lot of bones, and when this weather started playing these games, it's just been working me over pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I know. I know the feeling here. I'm out trying to get back into the racquetball scene. I've been doing that for the last 6-7 months, and been working well. I've lost 30 pounds.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah, so I'm getting there. But boy, I'll tell you what, there are days it really takes its toll on you. I come home, and then 5 minutes after I'm off the court, I'm like, oh my God, where are my legs at?
Well, you know, John, it's that old saying: if you'd have known how long you were going to live, you'd have taken better care of your body, right?
Yeah. Hey, I was of that generation. Never thought I'd make it past 30. You know.
Yeah, you and I could have some real conversations.
Hey, we want to get your take on what do we want to go with first, Joe? We want to go with Tom Perez, or we want to go with this announcement in Fox News that Democrats are calling for Trump's impeachment now?
Oh.
Let's go with Perez.
Well, you know what? Perez is I'm trying to think of something good I could say about this guy. I don't know anything good about him that I could say, other than he needs to fill the spot, and he's going to take credit for a lot of these protests that are going on. The truth is I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't think he's got the talent to drive the Democratic Party anywhere. I think what's going to happen there is just going to happen, and I'm not terribly impressed with him. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. The only thing he's really going to do is I think he's going to get a hold of his Democratic constituents or the legislators themselves and convince them that they have to take some kind of unreasonable action against Trump.
I was going to say this, Bob. If you could find anything good to say about Perez, we were going to ban you from the show.
No, I don't know anything good I could say about this guy, other than he's going to be a leader that instigates all of the trouble that Trump is going to be facing. The truth is, this is so ridiculous, the stuff that's going on, and I know what you're going to talk about a little bit later, and we'll get into that. But this is just the most ridiculous thing I ever heard of in my life.
Well, the only thing that would have been more ridiculous was if Keith Ellison had been elected and Perez was co-chair instead of vice versa. But I have a theory on this. I have a theory about everything because that's what I do. And my theory is this. As soon as, like I said, Perez really kind of rose to the top of the cesspool a few weeks ago. Up until then, it had all been about Keith Ellison and how far left the party was. Ellison was going to take the party and everything else, as if you can go any further left. But anyway, the idea here, what I really got to thinking about, Perez was Barack Obama's labor secretary. He was one of his labor secretaries,
right?
And it got me to thinking, with everything that we now know. This Russian allegation stuff has brought something else to the surface that maybe we weren't quite as aware of, and that is the collusion between the establishments on both sides of the political asylum here to do whatever they can do to damage Trump. And in the process here, what we have found and discovered is that there is indeed a deep state. There is a shadow government, operatives that Barack Obama left in. And I think Perez, I had no doubt Perez was going to be selected because Organizing for Action, Obama's community organization group, basically took over the DNC, their public relations. They're one in the same. So you've got this perfect operative sitting at the helm of the DNC, running the deep shadow government for Barack Obama. People think that Barack Obama's gone away. This guy hasn't gone away. He's just changed addresses, but he's doing exactly the same thing he always does.
John, it's even worse than that, John. It's not just the DNC. It's the RNC as well. Both of them, I think, are in collusion together here because Trump is actually making headway and doing precisely what he promised the people of America he was going to do, which is what got him elected, and that is he was going to shake up Washington, D.C. And when he said it, he didn't say, I'm going to shake up the Democratic Party, and he didn't say, I'm going to shake up the Republican Party. He says, I'm going to shake up the establishment in Washington, D.C. They got both sides in collusion against this guy, and he's winning.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what I believe to be what will be, if anything takes Trump down, and I really don't think that can happen unless he does not follow through, or at least give the appearance that he's following through on his promises. But if anything, my fear here, and it's just a gut check right now, that Reince Priebus is an operative for the RNC. An operative for the establishment. And if that surfaces somewhere down the line that it's actually been Reince Priebus who's been responsible for a lot of these leaks and a lot of these things that are going on, I think that would probably be the most damaging thing that could happen to Donald Trump.
Don't you believe that that's why Donald Trump has got Steve Bannon there?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think Bannon is just, Bannon is a loose cannon, and I think that's good to have somebody like that around. He understands what the media is about because he is the media. He's the alt-right media to some degree, and he's a radical, but he understands what's going on. That's why he does what he does, the way he does it. But Joe, I just made a comment here about Reince Priebus because I know you may be thinking the same thing. Am I correct?
I don't think Priebus belongs where he's in right now, but I don't think Bannon's such a loose cannon. The guy just states the obvious, and people in media just freak out because they can't stand to look at the truth.
Joe, they're afraid of him, and rightfully so. You know what? You look at what's going on in the United States today, and there's one guy that's really in control, whether you want to believe it or not, and that's Donald Trump. He's doing everything he promised that he was going to do during the campaign. He's done more. He's kept more promises in his first 100 days than anybody I can remember. He's getting ready now to put in a budget. You're going to hear about it tomorrow. That's phenomenal. He's going to raise the defense budget by 10%. He's going to make us strong again. He's not going to touch Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid. He's going to go after that discretionary spending that is sitting in there, that we're spending all that extra money for all the fluff. And he's going to start trimming those agencies that are just throwing money away.
And what do you think? Where do you think, Bob? Does your gut check tell you, as somebody that understands money, does your gut check tell you that Obamacare will actually be repealed and replaced, or is it's going to remain intact? What do you think is really going to happen?
Honest to God, the Republicans don't have another plan. What they have to do, they can't repeal Obamacare because too many millions of people would be without insurance and it would just kill the party. And they don't have a replacement. What they have to do is repair the bad parts of Obamacare.
Bob.
Yeah.
Bob, if they don't repeal Obamacare, then we just wind the clock back to before Election Day 2016 because we're going to hit that freaking time frame right there all over again.
No. You know what? You're like the kid crying, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. The truth is, they got plenty of things in Obamacare that can be repaired. Some things can be repealed, but they haven't even got time to get a replacement.
Not the Robert Mendoza conservative. It's the conservative syndicate. And if you're conservative, you get this thing repealed.
There's no way. It's not going to happen. If you're looking through rose-colored glasses, it's not going to happen. The Republicans have had 8 years to come up with an alternate plan. They haven't even started to do anything. They have got to fix the things that are bad and get rid of the things that are really bad, but fix the other things. They've already said there's certain things in there that they want to keep. If you don't see that handwriting on the wall,
Bob, you mean the thing that says I should be forced and coerced by the government to buy something and have somebody else pay for it?
No, come on. You're already paying for it. Whether you have independent insurance or you've got government-based insurance or however, you really think you're not paying for it?
Well, no, I get where both of you guys are at here. And I only have to interrupt because we have a break, and I want to let this conversation continue. My thing, and from Joe's perspective, I agree with Joe in this regard, Bob. If it is not repealed and replaced, then Trump is going to have a major problem with his base. As conservatives, we believe that it should be repealed. Now, I'm not saying it will be repealed. We're saying it should be repealed, and it should be turned back over to the private sector where it belongs.
And there's no question about that. But what's really going to happen, unless you keep these rose-colored glasses on, is that this repeal and replace is going to be, they're going to repeal parts of it at a time and replace it with fixing the bad things. And that's really what's going to happen. And then they'll call it Trump care, I suppose. Anyway, I know you got to take a break. We'll talk more about it when we come back.
Yeah, we've got to take our break here.
And we'll be right back with Jon Matthews and Joe Hakos after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. Well, we're waiting for Joe Hakos and Jon Matthews to call back in. Until then, if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Rome, Italy, it's 45 degrees and clear. And if you're in London, England, it's 37 degrees and it's partly cloudy. And right here in sunny Southern California, it's 50 degrees and it's raining right now on its way to 41 degrees. Well, John will be calling in any minute here, and we're going to continue our conversation about the repeal and replace of Obamacare. It looks like I am just on my own with these two guys. They disagree with what I think. I think they're talking about the premise of conservatism as opposed to the reality of what's going to actually happen. They should be calling me any second here, so excuse me. So we'll see what goes on with that. Hopefully they'll be calling in quickly here. I hope, sooner or later. Let's see here. There should be a way to. They got to be calling in here pretty quick. Let's go, Joe. Come on. Well, they must be running a little bit long. Anyway, I want to remind you that we're going to be doing our tribute to the late great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story later on in the show. We also have John Hansen, that little old wine drinker. He'll be calling in shortly, and we'll be talking to him about food and wine and see what's going on with that. And then I don't know. I actually, what I don't know is what's going on here with John. He generally is pretty good about calling in. Let's see if we can maybe call him. That isn't working. Let's see here. They should be calling me. I don't know what's going on here. There he is. And we're back with Jon Matthews.
Conversation. Okay. Hey, Bob. Are you there, Bob?
You there? Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay. We heard you rustling around there like you were trying to leave town.
Oh no, actually, I was thinking you had forgotten me or were having troubles, and I was trying to reach you guys.
No. We've had a little change in our programming due to one of our affiliates, and it's dragging out a little bit. We're trying to adjust. Anyway, listen, you had made the comment before that you believe that Congress will repeal the bad things and keep the good things. And Joe and I would like you to define to us what that is.
Well, sure. First of all, right now, Obamacare is running loose. There is no control. The premiums are up in many cases double digits. People were supposed to save money with Obamacare, and everybody was supposed to be insured, and that's not what's taken place. The premise of that, having everybody in America, one of the last major countries not to have available insurance for people, is almost embarrassing. But what they've done wrong is that right now all of the healthy people in the United States are saying, I don't need insurance. I don't want insurance. That's usually the younger people. And then so the older people who do need the insurance are causing these cost overruns. That, along with the costs of prescriptions and the doctor's cares and the litigation and all those things, is what's causing Obamacare to go bad, and the lack of actual competition in having these state barriers going on the way. What the Republicans are really going to do is they're going to get the right to repeal Obamacare, but they're going to replace it, but not with a whole brand new system. They're going to go in and piecemeal repair those things. They're going to make everybody, and there's a number of different programs that are being submitted right now. One of them I'm absolutely in opposition to, but generally what they're going to do is they're going to get rid of these bad things. They're going to make it mandate everybody be insured. That way they can lower the cost of insurance. They're going to get rid of the liability for malpractice on most cases, which will lower the insurance costs involved. And they're going to get rid of these state mandates and let people be able to bid interstate for insurance instead of having just one provider, and that's going to lower the costs. You're going to see all of those things happen.
Well, see here, I have to be honest with you, Bob. You sound like you're contradicting yourself. You're saying that they're going to replace the bad things with good things, but you just said they're going to repeal everything and then replace it. And then they're going to replace it with opening up competition, which I agree with. I think taking down the state lines is a good thing. I think opening up competition to pharmaceuticals on the international level would drive down costs. But I still can't fathom why or how you think the government doing this would have any positive effect on making it better.
But I don't think that that's exactly how it's going to work, John. I think what's going to happen is they're going to repeal Obamacare, and they're going to do it in a piecemeal fashion. And what they're going to wind up doing is they're going to release the majority of this to the states to control within the states and get rid of those states' areas. But they're going to control how the states can actually run this within the states. They have to put some kind of minimum controls on it, the same way they do with the minimum wage that they have today. And things like that. The states control their own minimum wage, but there is a rock bottom minimum wage that everybody has to comply with. I think what they're going to do is they're going to give you this rock bottom system and let the states work within that and have their own systems out there. And they're going to open up competition by getting rid of the walls around these state barriers so they can increase competition amongst the insurance carriers and get rid of the tort litigation that's going on against physicians and hospitals and manufacturers, so they can lower these costs down to a reasonable thing so that you and I can have good quality insurance.
Well, I agree with your list of things that need to be changed. What I don't agree with and adamantly disagree with, actually, is the idea that what you're talking about is block grants from the federal government to the states to let them run their own health care.
Well, that's one of the things that you have to decide amongst the states, and that's why the governors are actually sitting there with Donald Trump. But actually, yesterday and today, or 49 of them, Governor Moonbeam stayed home for some reason. But in any event, that's what they're doing now. He's trying to give control to the states. He's getting input from the states. But just like everything else, you have to have some kind of minimum control or some kind of guidelines that are there so that the states can go ahead and control their own. There are a lot of states that have minimum wages greater than the federal minimum wage, and that's okay. The feds are okay with that, but they are saying you can't have slavery anymore.
Why do we have to have some type of federal regulation?
Well, I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like vouchers, which is the same thing as the block grants that you're talking about. There's got to be some better way to that.
That's not what I'm asking you. You just said we have to have some type of federal regulation. Why?
Because if you don't have some federal regulation, some of the states are going to say, to hell with you folks, even though you're citizens, I'm not going to let you get insurance. I'm going to let you die. I'm not going to give you this basic right to health.
That's the whole concept of republicanism, Bob.
Well, it's not the whole concept, because not all Republicans agree on all the things that are Republican in the basis. And I do believe that this country, the richest, most powerful country on earth, should be able to provide health care for its citizens, at least at a standard as good as the other countries that aren't as strong and rich as we are.
Well, I agree with the compassion, Bob, but that doesn't fit within the template of what government is supposed to be about.
Well, yeah, but I don't agree with what government is.
Government is not supposed to be some kind of compassionate charity. Government is supposed to do what? It's supposed to govern to secure our rights. Healthcare is not a right. It is not a right.
So I suppose the security of its citizens and the well-being of its citizens and keeping our country safe, that's not a right either?
No, their job is to protect the Constitution and our borders. That's it. That's what the Constitution outlines, Bob. It doesn't say that the government is supposed to come in and out of compassion, supposed to design some type of program which everybody that has a right to it. Then no, that's not. That's really in pure republicanism and pure conservatism. That is not a working concept. That's what I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing: if it's my tax money, then I ought to have some say as to how it's going to be distributed. And part of the way I want it distributed is I think that the government ought to get together and be able to put together some kind of a system that the states can buy into or have their own that is better, one way or the other, and use my tax money to fund it.
I'm saying give me my tax money back and let me do what I want with it.
Well, that would be all well and good, except that you wouldn't use it for insurance. You'd get some catastrophic disease. You'd go into an emergency room where I'd have to pay your bill.
Well, we can do it the same way the illegals do. We go to emergency.
That's what I just said.
Okay, I'm not arguing with your compassion. I'm questioning the ideology behind it. But we're out of time here. We're going to continue this. We'll continue this on Friday. This is a good conversation.
Yeah, it sure is. Hey guys, you guys have a good one. I got to run. I'm running a little over too, and we'll talk to you on Friday. In the meantime, everybody, go to my website, robertcardoza.live.com. You'll find out all about me.
All right. Take care, my friend. Okay, go ahead, Joe.
All right. We'll be right back with John Hansen, that little old wine drinker, right after these brief messages. So don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
When they ask who's a fool in the corner crying, I say, a little old wine drinker me.
And now, from the middle of a vineyard somewhere, a man who's never met a grape he couldn't cuddle up to, our resident advanced sommelier, Jon Hansen.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:02 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's currently 50 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's liquid sunshine today. It's raining out there. Anyway, it's on its way down to 41 degrees. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Vienna, Austria, well, it's 41 degrees and it's clear. And if you're listening to us in Madrid, Spain, it's 48 degrees and it's partly cloudy. But I'll tell you what, no clouds ever over the head of my good buddy, Jon Hansen, that little old wine drinker. Hey, Jon, how you doing, good buddy?
Good, buddy. How you doing?
I am doing terrific. Are you staying dry, or are you out in the high desert trying to plug holes in the roofs of your rentals?
No. We're all good on the rental property, so I'm home today, just catching up on some things around the house. Actually, a little cleanup. It's funny, Bob. The Oscars were yesterday.
Yes, I know.
And I figure, there's going to be political. Especially, I know Meryl Streep was there, so I'm like, I'm not going to watch it. And somehow, I hosted an Oscar party last night.
You what?
Yeah, this is how this happened.
Really, Jon?
Seriously, this is hilarious, and thank God. Besides Jimmy Kimmel texting Donald Trump, it was all right. There was no really political statements. It was fine. But my good, Eric and Nikki, the story about the Porsche and all that.
Yes. Oh yeah, lovely young couple.
Oh, great couple. Well, we have season tickets with the Rams, so we got notices on our email that we need to purchase our tickets if we want tickets next year, or do upgrades and so forth. So him and Nick we haven't seen in a while, so they decided, hey, why don't we come over Saturday night, do like maybe a little barbecue, drink some wine, we'll go over tickets. It's fine. And Ray's good friend Diane and Ray are actually hunting buddies with Eric, and they both have cabins up in Utah, and they do hunting. And so he needed to talk to Ray, so he goes, hey, why don't you see what Ray and Diane's doing, because I need to talk to Ray and so forth. And I go, well, I haven't seen them in ages. Yeah, so we gave them a call. And then Sleep called me and said, hey, what's going on? And so I said, hey, listen, I got couple people coming over. Eric, he knows them both very well. I said, why don't you and Barbara come over? We're going to open up some nice wine, do just a little barbecue, nothing fancy. You want to come over and drink some wine if you're not doing anything? And he showed up, and all of a sudden Joey called me. And he goes, what are you doing? I go, well, I got Ray, Diane, Eric, Nikki, and Barbara, and Philippe over here. We're doing a little party. And so he came over. And they all brought wine, and somehow Nikki goes, well, let's see what's going on with the Oscars. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. If they start talking politics, I'm turning it off. And we had so much fun. It was hilarious. Eric brought ribs over. I did my famous little steak sliders. We had a nice little cheese plate with hummus, and we did. It's strange because everything on the grill is amazing. And Raina, she doesn't really eat vegetables. I'm getting her try to eat vegetables, so I do certain things to vegetables, and she loves it. So basically, on the grill, everything, even grilled salads. She doesn't eat salads, but she'll eat a grilled salad. We grilled the lettuce on the grill and so forth. So I decided to try something with her with the grilled cauliflower. Because we went out with friends about a month ago, and they got this grilled cauliflower. I said, just try it. She goes, oh, my God, that is good. So I decided to do just a little butter and garlic with the cauliflower, and she loved it. So now we have to have it all the time we grill this cauliflower thing. So I did that. We did, some mashed, just some vegetables with the ribs and the beef sliders. And then I said we had the cheese plate. We had chocolates. And Barbara and Philippe made her cupcakes, which are amazing. Have you ever had Barbara's cupcakes? You gotta have them. They're just unbelievable. So, we sat there and we watched it. We went through. We started off. First, Sleep and Barbara came over, and we had there's two wines from Costco, Bob. You know that the Chateauneuf de Pop for $20.
Well, yeah, but I was in Costco yesterday, and I was looking all over it. They don't have it yet.
Oh no! And I tell you, Bob, it lasts maybe a day on those two wines. The Premier Krug Chablis, which is Mount Maine, which everybody's trying to elevate up to Grand Krug status. Grand Krug Chablis, you're lucky, around $100 a bottle. Premier Krug around $50 a bottle. Well, you get Mount Maine, which everybody's elevating up to Grand Krug for $14 a bottle. It's unbelievable. And of course, one of your favorite wines, Chateauneuf de Pop, the Kirkland Chateauneuf de Pop for $20 a bottle. The problem is when you see it there, if you see it, and you go home, you come back the next day, it is gone.
Well, when you see it, you better buy it all. I was searching for it, and I'm hoping they just haven't got it yet.
Well, yeah, I go once a week, and I look, and I see it, I buy whatever they have there of those two wines. But they are amazing. So we started since Philippe got there first. I said, you want to start with a white? So we opened up the Chablis, and then Nikki and Eric got there. And Nikki loves Rieslings, and so does Raina. So, I mean, Nikki's basically the only one because I know Rand's going to go right to red as soon as we pop a bottle of red. And I promised to open up something nice. So we had just Chateau Ste. Michelle Riesling, which is $5 a bottle. Amazing value. I mean, just a great Riesling at that price. They both had a glass of that. And so my special bottle we opened 2007. William Sellum, the Linton, which is like their estate wine off the William Sellum Vineyards, 100-point wine of the year. I had a Magnum of the 2008, which was unbelievable as well. I opened the Magnum of that. Eric forgot his bottle at home. He was bringing the Cayman Special Select, and he brought the ribs, but as he was in the car rushing over, he forgot the bottle at the house sitting on the counter. So I said, listen, I'll open up something nice. So we did the 2013 Tail Roll, see how that was coming. Then I did the 2010 Reserve Cabernet from Whitehall Lane. And believe it or not, that this is kind of a push between the 2008 William Sellum Magnum, but on the cab side, believe it or not, that was just showing right now, 2010, 6 years old now, was really peaking right there. It was beautiful, and I think even another year or so would even get better. Joey brought a bottle of the Valley of the Moon Zin out of Sonoma. Valley of the Moon's been up there for years. I think they celebrate like 150 years of making wine up there. But still, a great bottle. It's like $20, and it was a beautiful Zin. And then Ray and Diane brought the 2013 Whitehall Lane regular cab, which, we tried it, and it's like, it's okay. But so it was probably the least favorite of everybody. But
so, John, there's 7 of you, and so far you've named off about 14 different bottles.
Yeah, as I said, it turned into a party, Bob. So it was funny, but we had it in the canner, so I just, I got the cover for the canner, and I tried it today, and it's a totally different wine. It really opened up nicely. Too bad, we decanted it, but it wasn't fair because of the competition we had before it. Yeah. But it was totally different today, and I wish we would have maybe done something different where we could have opened it sooner and let it sit and let that thing open up, because it was also a very nice wine. But we had such a great time, and as I said, thank God, especially when Merle Street got up there, I go, here it goes. She didn't say anything, and as I said, it was funny. And then of course that big debacle at the end. Oh yeah, was kind of hilarious. I just thought that Warren Beatty was just too old; he couldn't see the damn thing.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because I don't watch the Oscars. It doesn't appeal to me at all, especially because everything has become so politicized these days. But I did see it in the news. And I actually caught it. I got this news flash on my phone, and so it made me turn the news on. And Warren Beatty, he was unbelievable. And then Faye Dunaway kept looking at him, saying, "What the hell's wrong with you? What's going on here?"
Well, she just looked over and saw La La Land. She goes, "What is wrong? It says La La Land, La La Land."
Yeah.
She didn't see that actress, on the top of it and so forth. And both of them, my God, they're ancient, So I'm like, they probably Warren probably couldn't even see it, or else he was drinking earlier, and so it got out, and all of a sudden the controversy started, and they actually figured out what happened today, because there's 2 entrances, the right and left stage,
right.
And different people come from. So they have 2 of each card in case they want interest from that side or that side, and were given the card. Well, evidently, when they did the Best Actress, Warren and Faye came from the other side of the thing where he picked up the card. He picked up the wrong card. Oh, they gave him the wrong.
Yeah, they gave him. It was the accountant's fault. There were 2 accountants there from Price Waterhouse.
Yeah, Waterhouse. Yeah.
And those guys, not only are they responsible for protecting that, they actually memorize who the results are going to be for the entire show, and so they know if there's going to be a mistake. They handed the envelope to Warren Beatty. It wasn't his fault at all.
Oh, no, not at all. And it was funny because I guess the guy handed that when he said La La Land, the guy's going, "What are you talking about?" And he realized he gave him the wrong card. So, yeah, it was, as I said, there's 2 cards per each thing because it depends what's, entrance of the stage they come on the right or left. And so the guy, I guess, wasn't paying attention and handed Warren Beatty the wrong card because when they did Best Actress, they went from the other stage, so he still had that card. And he handed him the wrong card, and Warren Beatty was like, "I don't get this. What's going on?" Yeah. And then Faye Dunaway looks at Warren Beatty and says, "What's wrong with you?" It says La La Land there, La La Land, And then the director came flying out after they were on stage for almost 2 minutes and said, "No, there was a problem." It was just like Miss America would.
Steve
he gave the wrong Miss America.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you do? That just added some excitement.
Well, you know what? That made it worthwhile. Most of those guys. I don't want to make an improper comment, but the thing is that they do their best to get that whole thing done. It's so programmed and so done, and but it's the most boring event.
As I say, I never watch these awards. I never do, and especially this year, I was like, no way. But as I said, Nikki, she's such a sweetheart. She wanted to see what was going on, And I said, as soon as somebody says something politically, we're changing the channel back. And there was nothing on TV last night, so it was like, oh, okay. I mean, we were watching college basketball before we changed the channel. That's how bad it was. Watching Washington State, two teams that are not even in the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, the 64 teams, and you know that's how bad the team was. We were just having fun, and Nicky wanted to see who was going to win. And it was funny because all of our phones went off saying La La Land won, you know, the best picture, and all of a sudden everything, you know, then the guy came on stage and we're watching this, and all of a sudden finally we got more text coming through, you know, the news saying, oh no, you know, it wasn't La La Land. So it turned into that. It was even more enjoyable because of the debacle that happened at the end of the evening. But it was a fun night, and Philippe actually brought a port the Graham's 10-year Tommy.
Oh, really?
We never even got to it because we did so many bottles of wine before that, and of course they had to drive home too. So we never.
Oh, he doesn't live that far from you.
No. And actually, all of them don't live too far from us. So I mean, it's not too far.
But you know what? You know, even though it's sort of like, you know, John, I'm not a big sports guy, but I love championship games and championship sports of any kind. I don't care if it's the Wimbledon or if it's the NBA or if it's football or boxing or golf. I like championship games. I like those things. I just don't like the mediocre everyday kind of stuff, you know?
Exactly.
And,
it's drawn out, it's boring. And it's funny you mention that because baseball is totally trying to change the game where before when they wanted to walk a batter, the catcher had to step out and they had to throw 4 pitches to walk him because you need 4 balls. Now they changed the game where the manager just puts 4 fingers up and says, we're going to walk him, and he automatically just walks.
Yeah.
They're trying to take, you know, because sometimes the game is drawn out, especially when you get into extra innings.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, I'm a big Met fan, and we went to the first game of the World Series 2 years ago where it was 14 innings. And, you know, as I said, it's October. It was in Kansas City and raining. We were drenched. We were frozen. It's like, I don't care who wins, somebody end this game.
Yeah, I'll find out in the newspaper tomorrow morning.
Exactly. So now the commissioner of baseball is trying to totally change the game where if it does go into extra innings, they actually put a guy on second base to start off. So if somebody gets a hit, it's a run scored.
Yeah, but so let me ask you this. I mean, really. So they decide they're going to walk a guy. And I understand the idea of the game because it's all about money. But, you know, professional baseball is all about money. But you know what? It kind of takes away from the game. Who really is the better team if you can win by walking the other guy? You know, if you can win by calling timeout or running the ball out of bounds, or if you can just go to your knee and just run the clock out. You know, who really is the better team? You know what I mean?
Well, you know, as I said, it is kind of taken away from the game because as a pitcher, you used to just throw it to the catcher, you know, straight there. When he stands up and holds his glove out, pitchers sometimes can't throw that pitch. It's amazing. Or they get a ground ball to them trying to throw it to first. Yeah. The playoff game with the Angels, Zach Greinke, he threw it over the first baseman's head because he just can't throw a ball like that. He has to pitch from the stretch. Yeah. And he just can't throw. I mean, so it adds to the game. And it was funny, the day they announced it, it was Texas A&M, and I can't remember the other team, but they won they were trying to load up the bases for a force out at home, so he was intentionally walking the batter, and he threw it over the catcher's head, and they scored, and Texas A&M won the game on that play. And if you're going to take away that thing from the game, Texas A&M maybe it could have gone on, or they would never won the game. So a lot of pitchers get very uncomfortable trying to do a pitch out. Yeah, because they're not used to doing it.
Yeah,
so
and you know what?
Take away from the game.
Hey, you know what? It's your opposition. You got to face him. If you can't out pitch him, then the guy's going to hit the ball. So pitch him something that he can't hit out of the park.
Exactly. It's part of the game. Yeah. You know, it's been around for over 100 years. Yeah. And Why are they trying to change it now? If it goes in the accident, it goes in. I mean, it's part of the game. I like the rule on the pitch count. You have so many seconds to throw the ball.
Yeah.
Sometimes throw the ball and it gets delayed, and they step off the mound. Trying to play cat and mouse game with the batter, trying to get him off his rhythm, and that just prolongs the game. So it started in the minor leagues and so forth. And it will, I believe, go up to the major league where you have 30 seconds to throw the ball or so. The next pitch, if not.
Yeah, you're right. Hey, John, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll talk some more. How's that?
Sounds great.
We'll be right back with John Hansen, a little old wine drinker, and me.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:23 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's gone up. It's got a little warmer. It's 51 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, but it's still got that liquid sunshine coming down out of the sky. If you're listening to our show on one of our globally syndicated networks and you're in Tokyo, Japan, well, it's 40 degrees and partly cloudy. If you're listening to us in Sydney, Australia, it's not only 79 degrees and it's raining, which means it's humid, but it's also tomorrow at 11:23 in the morning. So anyway, that's all the good news for now. Let's talk about, that's all the bad news for now. Let's talk about some good news. My good buddy Jon Hansen, that little old wine drinker. John, you're back on, bud.
Well, yeah, let's talk about wine now, Bob. And wait
a minute. You already talked about 14 different kinds of wine. You know what I want to talk about? My grandson Joey, a week from today, I believe it is going on a field trip to Washington, D.C. and New York City and Philadelphia with his school. And I'm thinking on that Monday, if I've got it right, and I'll confirm it with you, but on that Monday, I'm thinking about we'll do an archive show here, and I will come by your house, and you and I will go to the Ways and Means.
That sounds awesome.
Does that sound good?
Let's do that. We have to see our good friends down there. We haven't been to the new place since they moved, and that is one of the things up on our list we have to do.
You know, and if that young man is still there, and I don't know if he is, we can just record an interview with him right there, and I'll edit it back at the studio and put it on the air during our segment.
Absolutely. Last I've heard, he was there, so hopefully nothing has changed by then. So. Absolutely. Let's etch that in concrete right now. Let's do that. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Okay, so that's the plan. I've got to, if I don't call you, it's because I'm going to be at your house at 10:45.
Okay. Well, text me until the night before to make sure it's still on.
I will.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about wine.
Yes, and you got to be my clock, because when we do the wine pick of the week, it's going to be a first. Okay, and that's all I'm going to say, because I never ever thought that I would do this, but I am. So
really?
Just to leave the viewers hanging there, you're going to have to wait to the end of the show when we do the wine pick.
Is it something readily available?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but it's something that I never thought I would put as a wine pick of the week, especially from that area. But I am.
Oh, don't tell. Oh, God. I can't wait. I will.
Just add a little excitement to the show here, Bob.
Okay.
But a couple of things I wanted to talk about. As I said, probably one of our most sought-after topics is wine tasting, pairing, and so forth. So two things I wanted to bring up was of course, the wine aroma wheel. You can get it online. You can buy these little packages that has wine aroma wheels in it to help people taste wine and so forth. But also you have little kits which have little bottles in it of certain things. Like, if you never, people grow up in different areas and so forth. And it's funny because I bring up my good friend Mickey Sato, who grew up in Japan. His view of nuances, pulling things out of the wine is different from mine, because he was introduced to different items growing up than I was.
Yeah.
Our good friend Matt, the Brit, as well. He would say stuff that it's like, what is that? And he goes, oh, when I was a kid, this is what we ate. So everybody has different, aroma memories growing up, and that's what they train. But of course,
so John, what do you do if you're a master sommelier? Don't you all have to be tasting the same thing?
Yeah, but different people pull different nuances, but you will eventually. And that's the thing about wine tasting at the Quartermaster Sommelier. It's like a big funnel, and basically you funnel it down because certain varietals give off different characteristics, and you kind of figure it out. For example, like grapefruit, you automatically go to Sauvignon Blanc because that's like but you can get grapefruit in other varietals too. But if you're really intense grapefruit, it has to be Sauvignon Blanc. But on the wine aroma wheel that we want to talk about today, it gives you all these nuances, and it classifies it down. You have like the fruit spectrum, which you want to go first, and first of all, as I said, the wine aroma, it goes with the tasting of the wine. The first thing you do when you look at a wine is the sight, and that gives you, as I said, it's white or red. You just delete it. Half the wines in the world. If it's white, it's white. It can't be Cabernet or Merlot. If it's red, it can't be Chardonnay or Viognier or whatever. So the sight I think, is probably the most important of the steps in the deciding on a wine. But the taste, of course, really defines it and narrows stuff down. So you go to the fruit, the first aspect you look at the wine, especially New World wines. That's the first thing you're going to get. And they have it on your wine aroma wheel down to like dry fruits, which are like apples, blueberry jam, figs, prunes, raisins. Amarone. You get that raisiny characteristic. That's going to right there. But you get strawberry jam. Chateauneuf de Pape. You get that roasted fruit. Spain, Southern Rhone. You get those roasted fruits coming out. Detector, where are you going? Is it Old World? Is it New World? You also have tropical fruits like banana, lychee, lychee nut, Gewürztraminer. If you're getting lychee nut, it's Gewürztraminer, mango, melons, pineapple. Then you also have tree fruits, which are like apple, apricot, cherries, peach, Viognier, pears. Pears could be a number of things. Chardonnay, apple pear, you get Chardonnay. Also berries, blackberry, dark fruits and red fruits, raspberry, strawberry. Again, strawberries, you don't think like maybe Grenache, Pinot Noir, and so forth. You also get citrus fruits, grapefruit, which I just talked about. Usually when I'm getting this intense grapefruit, I'm thinking Sauvignon Blanc and most likely New Zealand because that's where you get the intensity of that grapefruit, passion fruit. But also lemon, burnt lemon. Pinot Grigio from Italy definitely gives that burnt lemon characteristic. Lime, mandarin orange, all characteristics that you get on the fruit profile wheel. Then you have secondary nuances. One's caused basically from the secondary fermentation, which we can call like caramel. When wine goes through secondary fermentation, it's malic acid, lactic acid turned to malic acid, so you get more creamy, buttery characteristics on the wine. You get butterscotch. For the red wines, chocolate. But you also there's honey, malt, molasses, maple syrup that you can get on wines as well. Then you go to the microbiological end of things, where you get like yogurt, as I said, also through the second fermentation, baking yeast, breadcrumbs, those characteristics that you get off that second fermentation. Also, there's like oxidized, there's madderized, we get nuttiness coming off wines as well. You get also there's almonds, coconut, hazelnut, walnuts that you can get in wines. Then you come to like the earth part, where you get from the soil. You get like leather. Leather is going to bring me to Northern Rhone, like Côte Rôtie, Hermitage, all those things. You get that bacon fat, leather, animal. You get like an animal characteristic in the wine, muskiness, barnyard. Also, earth, mushrooms, moss, truffle. When you get hay kind of brings me to Brettanomycin or Brett. So that could be a flaw as well. And a lot of wineries, they like to bring up, Peter France and Michael Haven. They induce Brett in all their wines. They think they can control it, and it's a living organism. So, when Brett is in wine, it could actually, where the wine is tasting, oh, this is great, I add a little Brett. It can actually get more intense in the bottle of wine as well. So it's something that people like, especially in French wine, because a lot of wineries have Brett in their wine. And as I said, some people like to induce Brett into their wines, and they think they can control it, but it's a hard thing to control, because once it gets in your winery, it goes all through your winery, and then you can have a big problem. Just like Chateau Montelena, they had to totally redo the whole winery because they had a serious Brett problem. You get, of course, oak. Now, on oak, you get charred, coffee, smoky, toast, toffee. You can get, if it's like a heavy toast wine there. But also you get cedar, pine, vanilla, sawdust. You tell the difference between French oak and American oak. American oak, you get that dill and sawdust, where French oak, you get bacon spices coming out. But also you have the chemical end, kind of the pungent end of it, and that could be from high intense alcohol, ethyl. You kind of get an onion as well on there, burnt match like sulfur, cabbage or garlic, rubber, kava. Every time you get a sparkling wine, and Cava, the first thing I get off of Cava is like the end of a pencil, the eraser on a pencil. You ever smell the eraser on a pencil? You get that nose in Cava. It's like a rubber thing in Cava, which I'm not a big Cava fan, you know. You get skunk, which can also be a flaw in the wine. But you also get those petrols, and of course, Alsatian whites and German whites. You get that garden hose characteristic oil. You can also get plastic tar. Another one, tar brings me to Italy. You get a lot of those nuances, those secondary nuances on wine. You also get the spice, like anise, black pepper, chili, cloves. You get more of those bacon spices like cloves, cinnamon, nutmeg, more on the French oak side, so that would bring me in. Certain areas use certain oak barrels. Usually if it's big American oak, you're probably going to bring it to maybe New World, perhaps Australia or California. But there are some French, some Rioja. Typical Rioja is American oak, even though it's an old world wine. And that's one of the dividers when tasting wine. You have to define if it's New World, which is fruit-driven, or Old World, which is more terroir-driven. You also get minerals, of course, chalk, flintiness, chablis. You get that Corinthian soil where you get that chalkiness, that flintiness. You get slate from the Mosul area. And it's funny because what kind of slate is the blue slate, and bring it to a certain area. And that's what a lot of masters do. They blow your mind by saying, how did you know it was from here and that? And it's not rocket science. You're just dissecting the wine. It's like a big funnel, and you're just pulling out, and basically it's a process of elimination where you're going to only come down, once you're done with your process, your grid, you're only going to come down to a handful of possible candidates. And then you just look at all the information that you just tasted, that you saw, that you nosed on this wine, and you make your best guess on it. We talked about oxidation. You bring in Madeira. The word Maderize came from Madeira because they actually baked their wine. They used to just put it on a ship in the olden days, let it rock in the sun going across the water. Now they have what they call an estufa, which is like an oven where they actually bake the wine, so you get that Maderize characteristic on the wine. Sherry as well. You also have the herbaceous side. And Grüne Austrian.
Got 3 minutes, John.
One varietal in Austria. You get that canned vegetables, but there's also herbal qualities that come in wine.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. You get the black olives, red pepper, bring me the Cabernet, cut grass, will bring me to Sauvignon Blanc, mint. Mint I get on more on the Australian side. You also got like leaves like black tea, whole crust of press and Burgundy, that tea-like characteristic. Eucalyptus, Heights, Martha's Vineyard, surround it with eucalyptus trees, and you really get it in the wine. These are some characteristics that you get in wine. The floral characteristics as well, geraniums, honeysuckle, orange blossoms, lilac, lavender, rose, violets, all will bring it to a certain area and very helpful. So you can go online, you can pull a wine wheel up. There's kits that have the wine wheels, aroma wheels in it. Very helpful in detecting wine, kind of help you through. Also, purchase that kit. They're not too cheap, but they have just about every aroma in there. And if you're not familiar with aroma, you can actually just smell it. Open these little bottles up and smell it. Go, yeah, I get this on the wine. Just couple of tools out there that you can use. Okay. To end the excitement here, one thing I was never thought I'd ever do was pick a South African wine for wine pick of the week. But believe it or not, it is. It's the Baton Estate Sauvignon Blanc out of South Africa. 92 points for only $14 a bottle. You get grapefruit, passion fruit, gooseberry, green fig, lime. You get the incredible mineral and chalkiness coming out of the Sauvignon Blanc. It is amazing for $14 a bottle. First time ever, and probably the only time ever that we're going to do a South African wine is the wine pick of the week, Bob.
And it's available where, John?
I'm sorry?
And it's available where, John?
Wine Exchange has it. $14 a bottle. That's where I tried it, and it is amazing. It's amazing Sauvignon Blanc. And as I said, I'm not a big South African fan. I hate Pinotage unless you're paying $100 some a bottle, and it's just okay. But yeah, this Sauvignon Blanc coming from South Africa, amazing. It just blew me away for only $14 a bottle. You can get it at Wine Exchange, probably at any other wine store as well, while it lasts. But as I said, 92 points. I think it's even higher than that. And for $14 a bottle, it's going to go quick. So get out there, get a bottle, and try it.
Well, that sounds good. Hey, listen, mark down your calendar for this coming Monday.
I'll be waiting for you to see we're on, and then I'll see you around 10:30 or so in the morning.
It sounds terrific. Hey, John, good to hear you talking, to hear you, doing well. And stay dry. Keep your, matter of fact, you know what? Just sit down in your favorite chair, pour yourself a cocktail, because that's what I'm going to do in about a half hour, and relax and think about what you would have missed if you had not had your Oscar party.
Yeah, I was a little skeptical, buddy, but I'm glad we watched because it was a lot of fun, and thank God they didn't do any political riffs on there. So it was fun. First time I ever, and probably the last time we'll ever do it, but it was fun.
Okay, hey, stay dry, stay healthy, stay happy, and give that lovely wife of yours a hug and a kiss from me, will you?
And you do the same for me.
All right, take care. And the rest of you folks, stay with us, because when we come back, we'll be doing the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, and interesting but useless facts. Talk to you about it right after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics, where at 4:43 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 51 degrees and raining here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. If you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Auckland, New Zealand, it's 72 degrees and partly cloudy. And if you're listening to us in Hong Kong, it's 63 degrees and is mostly cloudy. Well, right now, I want to talk to you about the secret daily teaching for your life. You know what? This is all about a positive mental attitude. I'm not going to go through that whole litany like I usually do. You know, you control your life. No one else does. You know what? You need to focus on the beauty of our world and on how magnificent it is. As more and more people appreciate the beauty and focus on that beauty, our planet will receive the energy and we will see the beauty manifesting everywhere. Yeah. You know what? Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, and you can decide how wonderful and magnificent the world around you is with you in it. Absolutely. Well, you know what? It's time for us to deal with the birthdays of the day. You know what today is. Everybody does, and everybody's having a birthday. So, you know what? It's time for us to get to it. Yep, and we've got some great birthdays for today, so we might just as well get right at them. And you know what? You're going to enjoy these in any event. The first one is a fellow that was born in 1902, died in 1968, an American writer. Happy birthday, John Steinbeck. And boy, this lady was one of the most beautiful young women, and even into her twilight years was just absolutely beautiful. She was born in 1932. She left us some time ago. Happy birthday to a British American actress, Elizabeth Taylor. And here's a guy still fighting on our behalf. Was born in 1934, an American author. Happy birthday, Ralph Nader. You bet. And then here's somebody that born late in life, very famous. A lot of people know about her. She was born in 1980. Daughter and only child of Bill Clinton, the 42nd U.S. President and U.S. Secretary of State, Hillary Rodham Clinton. Yeah. Happy birthday, Chelsea Clinton. You got it. Well, I'm going to tell you what happened today in history. I want you to sit down, relax, and just ponder on the things that I'm about to tell you. You'll be glad that we have these few moments around. I can tell you on February the 27th, 1860, Abraham Lincoln makes a speech at Cooper Union in New York that is largely responsible for winning the election. That was what happened. And then on this date in 1973, the American Indian movement occupies Wounded Knee, South Dakota. And yep, on this day in 1974, People magazine is published for the very first time. And then I can tell you that on February 27th, 1986, the United States Senate allows its debates to be televised on a trial basis. Isn't that something? Yeah. Well, you know what? Our quote for today comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And Ralph says, "Nothing is at last sacred but the integrity of your own mind." Wow. Isn't that something? Yeah, sure is. Well, you know what? Time for us to talk about some interesting but useless facts. So let's get right to it. Did you know that Parker Brothers was founded by George Swinnerton Parker? And he was 18 years old in 1885. The first game produced was banking, in which the player who amasses the most wealth is the winner. Parker Brothers games. Yeah. You probably remember them from Monopoly. Did you know a poem written to celebrate a wedding is called an epithalamium? An epithalamium. Oh, whatever the hell. Who cares? You know what? If you burn more calories sleeping than you do watching TV, I wonder why that is. Because you'd think your metabolism would go way down, wouldn't you? You know what? Let's see here. Did you know that Orange Fanta, that's a drink, right, is the third largest selling soft drink in the world? Now, orange Fanta's good. You ever tried pineapple Fanta? Unbelievably good. You know, in 1281, the Mongol army of Kublai Khan tried to invade Japan, but were ravaged by a hurricane that destroyed their fleet. That figures. And how about this one? Japan's capital, Tokyo, means Eastern capital, Tokyo. And here's one for you. Portugal is the world's largest producer of cork. In all those wine bottles you heard Jon Hansen and I talking about, they have Portuguese cork in them, the majority of them. Now you're seeing more plastic corks and the metal caps, but at one time it was all cork, and it was all Portuguese cork. Well, let me leave you with this one. The oldest recorded document on paper made from fibrous material was a deed of King Roger of Sicily in the year 1102. Yeah. Well, now we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey. And the rest of the story, our story today is The Volunteer. You're not going to want to miss this. We'll be right back with our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And it's time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. You know what the American Broadcasting Company calls him? The biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week, millions of listeners, viewers, and readers would await his unraveling of the mysteries of events in the lives of people, past and present. He was heard on 1,400 radio stations, seen on 110 television stations, and read in over 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising. Well, today's story is The Volunteer. You know, Dr. Evan O'Neill Kane was chief surgeon of Kane Summit Hospital in New York City. At age 60, he had been a surgeon for 37 years. Like most physicians of great experience, Dr. Kane had become preoccupied with a particular facet of medicine. His strong feelings concerned the use of general anesthesia in major surgery. Dr. Kane believed that most major operations could and should be performed under local anesthesia, for in his opinion, the hazards of general anesthesia outweighed the risks of the surgery itself. For example, Dr. Kane cited the surgical candidate with a history of heart trouble. In such a case, a surgeon may be reticent to operate, fearing the effects of the anesthesia on the heart. And, of course, there were those patients with specific anesthesiologies who never awakened. Dr. Kane's medical mission was to prove to his colleagues the viability of the local anesthesia in most surgical procedures, and it would take a great deal of convincing. Many patients were understandably squeamish at the thought of being awake while it happens. Others feared the possibility of the anesthetic wearing off during surgery. To break down these psychological barriers, Dr. Kane would have to find a volunteer, a candidate for major surgery who would be willing to accept local anesthesia. Some did volunteer. He is the rest of the story. In his distinguished 37-year medical career, Dr. Evan Kane had performed nearly 4,000 appendectomies, so this next appendectomy would be routine in every way but one. Dr. Kane's patient would remain awake throughout the surgery under local anesthetic. The operation was scheduled for Tuesday morning, February the 15th. The patient was prepped, wheeled into the OR, and local was administered. Dr. Kane began, as he had thousands of times before, carefully dissecting superficial tissues and clamping blood vessels on the way in. Locating the appendix, the 60-year-old surgeon deftly pulled it up, excised it, and bent the stump under. Through it all, the patient experienced only minor discomfort. The operation concluded successfully. The patient rested well that night, and the following day his recovery was said to have progressed beyond that of the typical postoperative patient. On the afternoon of the 17th, 2 days after his surgery, the patient was released from the hospital to recuperate at home. Dr. Kane had proved his point. The risks of general anesthesia could be avoided in major operations. The potential of local anesthesia had been fully realized thanks to the example of an innovative doctor and a brave volunteer. Oh, did I mention that this milestone surgery was performed February the 15th, 1921? And did I mention that Dr. Evan O'Neill Kane and the patient who volunteered for the experimental procedure had a great deal in common? They were the same man. Dr. Kane, to prove the viability of local anesthesia in major surgery, had operated on himself. And now you know the rest of that story. Well, On tomorrow's show, Sean LaFave is going to be here. Sean and I will be talking about healthcare on our Geared for Wellness corner. And then I'm going to continue our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And tomorrow's story is going to be Alive. Yeah, you're not going to want to miss that. It's a great story. So I want to ask you to please tell all your friends about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. Tell them all to listen to us or to get our app. In the meantime, stay safe and stay healthy.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.